Welcome to Standing on Businesses podcast, the show for entrepreneurs who struggled in life, made the shift, and now chasing purpose over pride. I'm your host, Don John, someone who didn't start out perfect, but chose to pivot. I've lived the mistakes, and I've made the changes, and now I'm here to bring you inspiration and stories to help you build your business and your life as I do the same, brick by brick. This podcast is for those breaking old cycles, building something new, and becoming who they were meant to be. Whether you're just starting or starting over, you're in the right place. Let's get to it. Now, today's episode is something powerful. I'm sitting down with someone who embodies transformation in every sense of the word. His name is Scott. A man once found himself incarcerated in TDCJ, but refused to let that be a story or the end of his story at all. Welcome, Scott.
I appreciate it, Don John. I'm glad you're doing this, and just here to support. And I'm glad and honored that you asked me to come along and enjoy this experience and this journey. And I can't wait, for the questions you have for the interview and where this goes and where this leads you. And I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Yeah, man. It's been obstacles been coming through my way, man. It's been a fight, bro. And I'm willing to push through it because I need to get a message out, because I see so many fucking kids, bro, on the streets that I can't just look at and be like, you know what I mean? Just let it be okay. You know what I mean? Like, no, I can't do that, bro. This is why I'm doing this shit. But today we're talking about entrepreneurship, right? And let's start with the definition of what an entrepreneur is, right? It's someone who organizes and operates a business or businesses, right? And takes on risk in order to do so. We're diving deep into the mindset of the change. So first, tell me a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, my name is Scott Magallan. I'm from Texas, North Texas originally. I always say Dallas made me, Austin raised me, and grew up my teenage years in Austin, Texas. And, parents, traditional Mexican family, nothing, church on Sundays, parties on Saturdays, godparents to everyone. But they just normal childhood, nothing too crazy. Just split family up at 11, moved to Austin, and really just lived the journey. Just being a knucklehead.
Hell yeah. What do you do for a living, man?
Well, right now I'm just started off entrepreneurship. I'm actually a life agent. I'm going into the realm of that and helping educating families, not just on financial literacy, but also helping them solve for something more to leave a legacy. But my bread and butter back in the day was, being an electrician, construction kind of work in that kind of field. But
you working for yourself or what?
I work for companies.
All right.
Yeah, but right now, working for myself, being an independent contractor, in the sense of mind, and really trying to start something new and fresh for myself. So many people just want to, just go to day by day. But as technology evolves, people are evolving.
Right.
The life is evolving. I think you should evolve with that, and there's growth. Especially with Rico.
Yeah, especially with AI stuff too. You gotta evolve with this AI stuff. I use AI stuff. I use AI for everything. I script everything for the AI. I love it, man. Every day I wake up with the reminder of who I used to be, right? And who I refuse to go back to. And that motivation comes from you struggling. I'm building not just for myself, but to show others that you don't have to be a product of your past, right?
Yeah, that's right.
My purpose is to be proof that change is possible when you stay committed.
And the streets ain't for everyone. So they'll find out real quick.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll find out real quick.
It wasn't for me either. I fucking hated it. It was comfortable, though. I tell you that. It was comfortable. Easy to do. Very easy to do, but hard to get out of. Right? But
I mean, you could find yourself too. I mean, comfortable moving in with somebody on the couch, not moving nothing, like got AC blowing, got the Netflix going or whatever you got, movies, or you ain't gotta do nothing, got everything covered. Or are you really gonna use what God is giving you, your ability to put your 2 feet to walk and grind, something purpose for your life? Like, just find whatever it is, like have a service that you can provide to others and build value into others. And while you're building value in yourself and building into others, like, then you're gonna eventually people are gonna attract to that. People are gonna want that. Next thing you know, you're gonna have employees. Next thing
Right.
you're gonna know, you're gonna have a business, you have a logo. Next thing you know, it's not gonna just be Texas. It's gonna be U.S. and it's gonna be international. Like
Exactly.
you just gotta keep. You gotta go as far as you want to push yourself. And I truly believe that. Like and then after you do your one challenge, another challenge is gonna come. It doesn't stop.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what I tell people. Like once you master something, add something else on. Do something else. Keep building. Keep doing more. Why not? You can do all this stuff, and that even falls as getting a second job, right? You have a job, get a second one. If you got time to fucking work and make money, go make money. You know what I mean? Part-time job, it doesn't matter. Just go out there and grind.
Yeah, and people don't understand that, John. Or they do understand that, but don't be ashamed if you got to go, work at the fast food restaurant. Don't be ashamed if you're gonna go work waiter. Don't be ashamed if you got to go work electrician, listen to a bosser.
Yeah.
You need that little bit of stability and structure, because if you weren't doing what was right in the beginning, then you don't know how to operate a business. You don't know how to learn and regulate yourself. You don't know the discipline.
Exactly.
Because in jail, you're mad that they're telling you when to shit, eat, and sleep. But when you come out here, you want to do what you want to do, and then you don't have no structure.
Right.
But you're in there structured and doing your thing in there and moving how you want to move.
Exactly.
But there's there's consequences to all that. And also, so I just really truly just feel like for myself, distractions are gonna come. It's how I use them. I use them as motivators, or am I gonna let it distract me?
Right.
And we're all gonna let something distract you eventually. So
yeah,
we just got to keep that tier to stay hungry. And when you find yourself in complacency, when I find myself in complacency, it's I have to turn myself. You know what I mean? I truly have to turn myself. It ain't. No, it's fine. You don't. I have to really.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Start group chat. Sorry.
So like you have to. Like it's like sometimes like a car. You know what I mean? Like you're full of gas, you're ready to go, and you're pushing, and then you eventually run on E, and then you're just gassed out, and then you're like, maybe for some people it might be a day, some people might be hours, some people might be a week, some people might be a month to get the motivation again. And that's where I'm at. Like I can push and elevate to the next thing that somebody's asking me to do, or I'm asking myself to do. But then I might gas myself out and have to be in recovery mode. And how long is that recovery mode? And luckily, it's getting shorter and shorter.
Right.
But in the beginning, it was a long period of time, months, weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Now a week. Now it's a day. But it's just how you feed yourself. What are you feeding yourself? You got to take care of this.
It's all about the mindset, and that's what we're talking about right now. Mindset. I like this one. What was the first thing you did after prison? To start building yourself as a
because I was all like, honestly,
I already know all that.
And that's funny that you asked, because walking out of prison, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I just know I needed income, I needed a job,
right? That's what that's the start,
the basic essentials, And luckily, I have good. I had a good support system when I was in there. Not everybody does.
Yeah.
And but I really didn't start taking a shift until the beginning of this year. You know what I mean? Or really the end of of 2024. Like, man, I was already going back down that path of it. Like, and I could see myself.
You felt you just like, damn, I'm doing the same shit.
I was all like, I'm just now going. I was like, what am I doing? And I thought removing myself, moving, like just move, and
Perhaps a little bit. If you move out,
yeah, not
just a little bit.
Yeah, but move to like a different town, a different state, like recreate myself, but like where nobody knows me. But you can reinvent yourself right here where you're at, and show the people who you can be. And the process is ugly,
Uncomfortable.
But yeah, definitely. At the beginning of the year, I just knew, coming out of incarceration, going to interviews, going to jobs, not being able to get a job, even with the resume and the tenure I have of being an electrician or being in my field, people not wanting to hire me because you're just getting out. It was very difficult, very disheartening, knowing the skill that I have, and you have to sell yourself short because of your past, because of what you did. But you have to think about it too, like why are people treating me this way, or why they think, I mean, because you showed them the shit. You showed them you weren't that person. Like you showed who you truly were when I was in the alcohol, when I was in the addictions, when I was in the streets, when I was in, you know, um, being a follower, not a leader.
Right.
You know what I mean? Going into the crowd, or thinking my friends were really helping me, having a good time, when you're all really hurting yourselves. Like,
Right.
I give kudos, to the young entrepreneurs and the young people out here that have a good group, a good circle, and they keep it small. That they're all looking to strive the same thing. You gotta latch onto somebody, and I
Right.
think that's what I did. Social media is gold when it's gold, and it's rotten as the filth of of the scum of the earth. But I was just looking in the winter storm in Dallas. I was, woman, and I so happened to click on some like, I guess you would call it a magic class, or like you call it convention. I met a meeting somebody that's very successful in their line of work, in their business, and actually they're mentoring me now. They made millions of dollars in this business. They have a good consistency,
Right.
and longevity in their business, and they keep feeding themselves, and they give back to the community, they educate, and they've made a name for themselves, and they've actually know people of establishment that have built themselves too on the platforms, and have platforms. And what are you gonna do? I told myself, like, am I gonna hold on for dear life and learn, or am I gonna actually like grow? So
Right.
that's right now where I'm at my spot. This in January, then making the decision to stay here, in Central Texas, and continuing my journey, and growing.
What motivates you every day to keep grinding and doing what you're doing and not stop?
Honestly, for me, at the beginning, was definitely my family. As being Hispanic, Mexican in our culture, we everything's about family, family oriented, and you just want to be the best for them. But right now, I just on a motivation for self. Um, there was, my past wasn't easy, wasn't the best, and right now, so my biggest motivation is pulling myself, feeling that conviction of the failures that I'm doing now, and learning the business, learning how to be an entrepreneur, learning just the day-to-day goals, and trying to stay focused and not get distracted, because it's easily to get distracted.
Right. What was your life like before incarceration?
Before incarceration, man, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot of drugs, a lot of just out there with the boys, you know.
And that's all cool. It's fun, but it's like when once you get older, you realize all that I was doing, all that partying and bullshit I was doing. I could have been building something for myself, and I don't hate myself for it, but because I learned a lot in the process.
Yeah, truly, I just, like, when I was before incarceration, I was on the tip of, you only live once, but also, like, I didn't really have the value of living a long life, leaving something behind. Just, it was just, running and gunning,
Right.
and I didn't really care where my destruction or anything led,
Right.
because it was just really selfish desires. But just, yeah, before incarceration, it was like, you just don't know, you're just doing whatever you want
Right.
until that moment happens. But it's a buildup, you know, cases after cases, misdemeanors adding up to felonies, and those kind of type of things, and then just not listening, like not listening to authority, not listening to law, not listening to my intuition or my gut, because it was so blocked with alcohol.
Right. No, I feel that for sure, bro, because I was a demon back then, bro, and all the drugs, all the alcohol, all the women, you know what I mean? Like, and not to say women are, bad, but like the women I was dealing with were not good for me. So, and I had no guidance on that. You know what I mean? It just stuck, and it was fun, but it's you're not building nothing, while doing it. I'd rather build something, and waste my time or spend my time doing that than out here having fun, really, to be honest.
Right.
So,
And
this
that's
is fun to me.
right.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Now this is fun. Like, as you grow and get older and as you go through, I believe I had to go through all that
Hmm.
to really know who I want now. I wish I didn't have to,
Right.
but now that I do, like, it's more of a focus. But it's for the generations that are younger, the ones that are actually trying to do it. You
Right.
know what I mean? And us older generation, it's crazy like we say it now, right? Because we were once there.
Hmm.
I just don't understand, like, why. But I get it. 22-year-olds are gonna do 22-year-old things, but also 22-year-olds now these days are making millions of dollars.
I know. And that's crazy. And that's why I'm like, I look at myself, I'm like, I'm fucking 30 years old and I don't got $1 million to my name yet. You know what I mean? Like, I need that. Like, I'm tired of fucking bullshitting, sitting down, playing fucking games or texting women and try to, get in their pants and just for nothing.
Yeah, I feel that.
Nothing's being built. You know what I mean? And they got guys out here with millions of dollars that are not even 20 yet. You know what I mean? E-commerce, fucking drop shipping, whatever they fucking doing. Content creators, like it's crazy, bro. And my main focus is not money. I don't care about the money because that will come, right? But I want to get the statement out. I want to change kids' lives. I want to change adults' lives, whoever, anybody. You know what I mean? Anybody who's listening and needs guidance just like I did. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I'm not saying I know everything, but I know enough to where I've changed my life. So now I think if I put and set the same principles for someone else, or if they do the same thing, they can achieve success too. Like I am right now. Like I see myself elevating. I can't lie to you. I am. You know what I
Right.
mean? I see every day I'm growing because I want to, not because I need to. Right?
Yeah, and I believe you just, everybody's motivation is different. People need that chip on their shoulder. Some people, uh, think of words. I have funny during the week. Somebody, called me in, the beginning of my stages was like, me posting on how, like, transformation, this stuff, how I go. They go, why don't you change your life before you change somebody else's life?
Mm,
And then they called me yesterday saying, they're needing something from my past, something that, like, that's not of me.
right.
And I told him, remember when you told me I need to change my life before I change other people's
Mm-hmm.
lives? Well, that's what I'm doing. I made him eat his words because he had nothing to say, because he was
Right.
trying to pull me back
Mm-hmm.
to his level, when all in all reality is that it's, the crab pot. They're just trying to keep pull you down,
Yeah.
and you have to find a way to figure out what you have to do. Like,
Right.
the distractions, the people.
And it's jealousy. That what he's experiences is jealousy. He's just jealous of you. That's why he wants to pull you back to his level. That way he don't have that feeling of being jealous no more about somebody. You know what I mean? Because everybody hates to be wrong, right? Like let's talk about this guy on the internet who's trolling me, right? And everybody knows who I'm talking about. We all know who I'm fucking talking about, right? And what he's doing is actually giving me attention. That's all he's doing. Let him hate, especially when it comes to the internet. You're face to face with this guy, right? But a hater's a hater, right? He's gonna hate. They're gonna hate regardless whether it's on the internet or in IRL. You
But
know,
yeah, but I internalize that, and I use that
right?
to convict me to be like, you know, to keep pushing. Even if I fail, I know that there's another step to
Mhm.
grow, and that failure is grow. And right now, just to grind, to be humble and be grateful from a year ago to today. You know what I mean? A year ago I was in prison, and today I'm out here with you and showing these things.
Yeah.
We can go into that whenever.
How do you keep your mind focused and away from all this negativity and going back to what you used to do?
Honestly, um, I don't. Every day, every day, I still like, I still hear it in the voices in my head. I still hear the hate. I still hear the negativity. But it's just, I feel like it's just a muscle. Something that you got to exercise
Right.
every day. Something you got to,
Mm.
whatever you feed yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whether you're scrolling all day, or you're reading books, or you're listening to audio, or you're jamming out, or you're in the gym, like, yeah, the way we grew up is, keep us down here and know your place,
Right.
but once you don't want to do that no more, it's uncomfortable. So it's uncomfortable for me to get rid of the distractions because me, I want to be on go
Right.
and do things that are really not relevant. You know what I mean? We're all human beings. We all feel those emotions, and we need to continue to work on ourselves. But also, if you don't want to grow, there's the street. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
And if you do want to grow, then you're gonna eventually know what to do.
Yep.
You know,
And that's a good point because I like the way you said that because there's the street, right? If you don't want to fucking do nothing, then there's the street. It's easy. It's right there. All you gotta do is walk on it, and that's there. You already got a path driven for you, right? What challenges have you faced after you got out? Maybe some obstacles that have came your way that you had to overcome.
really just myself, poor decision making, still getting out. Not utilizing that time. The 2 years that I was in there, um, like, okay, I have an end date and I'm going to get out and thinking, but in 2 years, so much had changed. Like, so much had changed, not just talking about physically the streets and the structure, but like this, the society itself. And I was like, wow, it isn't, but also, the challenges of being, a felon that has to get out and has to show that on every application, on everything that you do.
Right.
On those are the challenges of people like, oh man, expecting you to go out, but my decision making, like, what was the best decision for me, like, or being like trying to appease people, or because I know so many people are out. My name was good out there. It was, oh, I can get you this, or I can get you that, or, in that terms of like, uh, just the streets, and just making poor decisions, man. That's really was really my distraction and my downfall of getting out. Like, those were the biggest obstacles. But once I got over that hurdle and I said enough is enough, and I saw where it was gonna lead me, luckily, it was a quick shift. It was 4 to 5 months, 6 month shift from when I got out last June to that November, December, where I was like, oh my God, who I'm becoming this monster that I don't even want to become. And then putting myself and really letting God do the work, because I would have never been able to meet this person, like out walking the streets, or, like it just so happened to happen. And that's where I'm at. And this is where the growth is now.
What does success look like to you now compared to what it been before incarceration?
Man, it's humbling as you ask that, because that's success for back in the day for me was, fancy car,
Right.
a house, like, the family, a successful marriage, those values, being able to do things with your significant other. Like, those were kind of success things for me. Owning a business, but not really understanding the ins and outs. Just
Right. Just
looking
wanting
at,
to own. I just want something, but
looking
no,
at,
not know what to do or how to do it. Right.
yeah, like, not realizing the work you have to put into it,
Right.
But now when I look at success is, man, it's an appreciative thing, because of the nights that the days that you don't want to get up, or the days that you do fail, it makes your success feel much more better and much more greater.
Right.
And so that's what I look back then. It was just kind of you know a surface level slate, nothing. I mean, people might say that's gold, having all those things that I mentioned, but for me, as recreating myself, reinventing myself, there is more. There is, and why not? And even all that stuff is good. If your family agrees on it, they're gonna support you, and y'all gonna elevate together. So success for me is really right now, and this time is just the motivation to growth. Every day. The growth, the telling myself I'm gonna grow every day, no matter what. No matter what. You know what I mean? And if I don't make it, then what did I do? I need to solve for how I felt in that issue, in that area.
See, success for me back then, before, but compared to now, if I had all the girls, right? If I had all the girls and I was the coolest guy, maybe I had a little bit of money, you know what I mean? Everybody wanted to be around me. That was what success was to me. Not come and now it's like success is to me is building something for myself, right? And achieving those goals, right? At least trying to do something for myself. That's what success is now. I don't want all these girls. I don't want fancy cars. It's nice, right? But that's not what success is to me no more, you know? Success is it goes deeper, and beyond just having girls.
The yacht with the 100 girls on it, or was that Don John's
That
success?
was it's still kind of, I still want to achieve that, but that's not now. I'm more interested in building something for myself. And I'll get that later. I'll get that stuff later, but now I just want, and success for me too is having that that mind shift, of even just changing your mind to successful thinking. You always think, oh, I'm on drugs and I can't do nothing with my life. I'm just gonna be on drugs for the rest of my life. No, I didn't think like that. I told myself I'm not gonna be doing this for the rest of my life. I'm gonna stop one day. I just needed, I just needed that push. I needed to go to prison. I don't like going to prison, or I don't like going getting locked up. But I needed that for sure. I really needed that.
What was your biggest takeaway from when you were walking out of there? Like
the discipline, the structure, the rules that were set, by inmates
right.
and the guards too. You know what I mean? Just someone telling me don't do that shit. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And wanted to fight because of it. You know what I mean? So you had to fight, so you had to change. You know, and but that would be the biggest thing is the structure it gave me, because I was just everywhere, bro. I didn't want to listen to nobody. You know how you are. You know how we.
Yeah.
You're just so big headed. You don't want to listen to nobody. Cool. I got all the girls. I don't need to listen to nobody. You know what I mean? Like, but now everything was taken away from me. I'm literally stripped of all my pride. You're literally stripped of everything that is who you are, right? From my hair, to when I had to shave my head, bro. Who the fuck I became? Somebody I don't want to become. I don't like that person, that bald headed guy. I don't like that. Not to say being bald is bad, but for me it is. You know what I mean?
Straight aggravated. I remember it was for me shaving all my beard and
that too. Like, this is a big part of who I am. Like, my hair. Like, I'm not me who without my hair. Like, and it's like when they even when I would have like a job back then, and they wanted me just to keep my mustache and shave this, I quit the first day.
Yeah, I think it's like your identity.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly. And this is why building something for yourself, or starting your own business, even you can have any kind of fucking hair you want. You know what I mean? It's cool. I love it. But yeah,
it's amazing, man.
If you can go back, if if you can go back and talk to your younger self, what would you say before everything went wrong? What would you say?
What age are we talking? Like high school, middle school, elementary?
Maybe okay. Let's rewind not that far. Let's go back maybe a couple years before you got locked up. This main time. What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself, learn as many languages as you can. I think the power in diversifying how you speak to others, how you carry yourself, has a lot to do with what you society. If you're able to speak, not just for us, we're Hispanic, and in America, we speak, and we're in Texas, so Spanish people but fluently, without any stutter, no stumbles, French, what do you call that, Portuguese, or just any other language, African even, I think would I would think that would get you a lot further. That
it would.
That would for myself, because they're gonna be like, dang, who is this guy?
Right.
He really invested in himself to learning multi languages.
Especially in the profession you're in right now. If you know multiple languages, bro, you're able to
Yeah.
got that many more prospects you
Oh,
can talk to. You know what I mean?
yeah, like I was like when I first started, they needed somebody to talk Russian.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like who just knows Russian? You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
And you know, even like
Shows you're a smart person.
some
Too.
Hispanics don't even know how to speak Spanish. You know,
Right, yeah.
you know, like they know how to order some food, but they don't know how to, you know, carry on a conversation or understand how to really show somebody. So yeah, I think that's what I would tell myself. Learn as many languages as you can. You know.
What would you say to someone who feels stuck in the system or the streets, as you once were?
You want to be there. You know what I mean? Because I believe before all the bridges are burnt, there is a circle around you that want to help you pull you out.
Right, right.
And then they got all these people, you know, all these programs in the inner cities that, you know, they want to help you people out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But you want to be there. I mean, I really can't tell somebody.
Because if they're there, they're already there, right? You might as well learn.
They're in their mindset right now, you know. You ain't gonna listen. I remember doing back in the day homeless ministry. You know what I mean? And you know, giving opportunities to come out. You know, of help. I'll take them to go get a job if they wanted to.
Right.
You know, they needed tents or clothes, and I learned in that sense, like they don't want to get out. You know what I'm saying? If their mind is so years after years after years after years after years after years after years, you know, even me, like I had, you know, living just a normal life, but still wanting to be in that limelight and there, and then taking
it doesn't. You can't mix those together.
Yeah, a fool. You know what I'm saying? Very foolish. Very very just not mature, and you know it. To the ones that do want to get out and they do want to listen, I believe that they have the opportunity to, and that person, you just never know, will come up and present that to them. Mm-hmm. And I believe it is possible. But while you're out there in the streets and addiction and drugs, you ain't finna listen. Yeah. And when you're out of it, you might want to listen for a second, but it's the consistency, like I said, like the discipline. Yeah, exactly. You know, like somebody getting recovered, you know, of alcohol. Like you're not gonna you might party and drink a lot, or you might just drink on the weekend. But if you stop for a little bit, there's still gonna be a moment where you're gonna want to be like, oh man, I miss doing that. I want to go back. You know what I mean? So once you get that inside you, there's you just stuck. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's a quicksand. Yeah, can't get yourself out. You know, and hopefully, to the ones that are out there, they can recognize when it is out. I believe, you know, God throws life rafts all day long to people, to the same people, you know, multiple times. Right. He's going to continue to do that. He threw it to me. He's doing it to you. It says, which one are you going to grab? Right. You know, recognize a life raft when you see it. Exactly. I love that. You know, or just don't, like they say, you know, the boat's coming for you. You're in the middle of the ocean. And you're like, nah, I'm gonna wait for the next one. God's gonna give me. No, God already came in. Get on the boat.
This is it right here.
Get on the boat. Yeah. See where it takes you. Mm-hmm. It could help you.
Yeah. Do you have any old junk laying around that you don't want anymore, or either too busy or don't have the proper hauling equipment to move it? Called Junk Kings, an environmental and sustainable company focused on getting every need met while recycling 60% of their junk they dispose of. They're the only national junk removal company with sorting facilities in locally owned locations. They sort, reuse, recycle, and donate as much as they can to be a responsible, sustainable waste removal partner for the better tomorrow. You can either visit the website at junkkings.com or call them at 1-888-888-JUNK. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now doing what you're doing?
Being established, and we're as a life agent, as an educator for not just minorities, whoever wants to hear that, 7-figure earner, you know, being able to give back to not just my loved ones, you know, if somebody has something like a problem, I'll be able to help them, you know, an extension of what my mentor is giving to me. You know what I mean? That's where I see myself building my name, not just a brand, but building the man that I could see myself being uh, in 5 years. I can't wait. This is the beginning. I know it could take longer,
Right.
but it's an awesome goal to have by 2030. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? 7 figures, not worrying about too much. Continue to helping others, entrepreneurs grow their business, doing my selfish goals, my selfish dreams, starting
Yeah,
my own
selfish goals,
companies,
yeah.
multiple investments in other people, investing in others like somebody investing into me, having that mentality of never giving up. You would say, uh, whoever you think of, you're great, the athletes to the musicians to, speakers out there, whoever, you know, I'll leave that to y'all to see who do y'all look up to. You know, that's what I'm looking for. Uh, a man that's going to be empowered and not having to think less of himself because of the circumstances who he was.
Right.
Definitely. What about yourself?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? With all the women in the world. No, I'm kidding. I see myself in 5 years with this podcast specifically having reached a lot more people. At least I want to grow the following at least to in 5 years, at least to 1 million. Right. But I see myself in 5 years at least successful. That's where I at least see myself, right? If I stay consistent and keep doing what I'm doing, I will see myself doing that in 5 years. And I want to retire my mom. I want to make sure she's good. I don't want to, she's good.
Okay. Yeah. That's that's nice, man.
If someone is listening right now and they're at rock bottom, what's one message that you would tell them that they should hear?
Mm-hmm. Everybody has a bottom. You know what I mean? I think everyone that nothing comes easy to anyone, and especially laziness. If you're at the rock bottom, it could be worse. I think there's always a way out. Find your way out. You know what I mean? Find it, whatever that means.
I was at rock bottom, bro, and I'm talking about rock bottom. But if you think about the word rock bottom, it's on the ground, right? That's your foundation to grow. Now you can start growing. This is where you can start growing at rock bottom. It's hard. You might not have the guidance and know how to do it, but at least try to start something. You know what I mean? And this is, you know, the thing that's breaking you today can be the thing that built you tomorrow. You know what I mean?
It's good. I definitely for me, my bottom was just going deeper in myself, knowing that it could get ugly. You know what I mean? It could get worse. But learning that through that there's growth. So if somebody definitely say, hey, hey Scott, man, I'm down and out. I ain't got nothing. What can I do? Show up.
Right.
Show up for yourself. You know what I mean? If somebody asks you to do something or be somewhere, be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Figure it out. And if you don't know how to figure it out, then ask. But because of our mentality, our ego is like, I'm not gonna ask anybody for help. If you're at a bottom, you're gonna need help, bro.
Yes.
So utilize it.
Right.
Find it. Do the work.
Usually,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And if you say, well, I can't pull myself up, figure out what's keeping you down there and move, and then remove it, or get through it. Get through it. You know what I mean? The other day here we had a hailstorm, right? A terrible hailstorm, and it was like 3 minutes from the office. We're driving, couldn't see like from me to you.
Yeah.
And all you hear is boom, 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 boom. And a mentor goes, how was it? How was it? Like, what were your thoughts during that? And I said, you got to get through it. You know what I mean? I can't turn around.
Yeah, gotta get
I can't turn around. Like, home is 45 minutes the other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm 3 minutes from here, even though I can't see. Like, you got to get through it. You
got to go. You got to get to your destination.
You know what I mean? Like, you got to just walk forward, even if it's an inch, even if it's a, and you'll be, it's going to clear up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It don't last forever.
It don't last forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Success don't either. Like, bro, if you hit 1 million followers, wow, that's success, right? But you can't just stop at 1 million.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I can't just
stop at 1 million.
I can't just stop at 7 figures. I can't just stop of only helping out, over 500 families, you know what I mean? Or 600 families or 1,000 families. Like, there's got to be another top, you know what I mean?
Right.
So that for your bottom is find an achievable goal, get through that, and then there's always you're gonna have a new bottom.
Exactly.
You're gonna have a new bottom.
Now you're at a new level of bottom, right? Yeah, you're right. You rose, but now you're at the bottom, and on that, now you got to rise some more.
Yeah, and there's no the sky is limitless, so just keep moving, man.
So all you gotta do is go up.
What drove you into all this? Like, what is the internalization of Don John? Like you're saying, the jealousy nature. Like, what's making you go every day, get up, and drives you in your focus?
Knowing that I'm gonna help somebody, knowing that I'm gonna help a young adult better his life, knowing that I'm bettering my life every day. You know what I mean? Knowing I'm leveling up with every word that I say, with every action that I do, knowing that motivates me every day to do that. You know what I mean? It keeps pushing. It's like a cycle, right? I do this, it motivates me. Boom. Now, you know what I'm saying? I'm just motivating myself every day with the things I do. My actions every day speak for themselves. And let's just say I, fuck off my time the whole day. I don't feel motivated. You know what I mean? I got to do things. You got to do things in your daily life to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't just wake up and be like, motivate me. You got to do shit to motivate yourself, do good things, that make you successful, that build what you want to create. That's what motivates me.
Man, it's amazing. It's amazing. Also, too, like, what would you say to the old you watching? Like, you know what I mean? To the people, like the old version of you watching out there.
Everything you're going through right now is building you. I promise you. All the bullshit, all the drugs, all the women, bad women, it's building who you are. Learn. Don't dislook or overlook things. Go through it because you made the dumbass decision to do that type of stuff. So now you're going to have to go through the shit. But learn every single minute of the way that you're doing this stuff. Even if you're doing something bad, you're going to learn something from it. Use everything that you learn and put it in your life now.
All right, that's all. So, what do you got? What is your vision for this year? Like for this year, for this ending, for.
Well, as of self, if we're talking about myself, my vision for the end of this year is to stay consistent and keep doing what I'm doing. If at the end of this year I'm doing the same thing I'm doing right now, I know I'll have grown in that process. And that's all I want to do is just grow more. At the end of this year, I want to be smarter than I was today.
There you go. That's a good goal. That's a good goal.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on too, Scott. Like, it means a lot. And you're a part of something that's being built, and it's going to be good. I promise you, it's good. I'm going to grow this, sky's the limit, and I want to change people's lives. I want to help people, not be the reason why they change their life, but at least give them some guidance and motivation to go out and do that themselves. That's the point of me doing this. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the monetization. I can say all the cuss words I want. I don't care about the money. I make money doing other stuff, right? I do this for purpose. It makes me feel good knowing that someone's watching right now and they're taking all this stuff in and letting these words motivate them to go do stuff on their own. You know what I mean? And not go back into the streets and fall victim of that kind of lifestyle.
All wounds heal. You know what I mean? All wounds heal. But don't reopen them.
Don't.
You know, just let them heal.
Yeah.
And life can continue. Life's going to keep going on forward, whether, you know, for me, I do continue this entrepreneurship or go back to a 9 to 5.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And a 9 to 5 is not bad, right?
It's live.
But
it's live. You get a check.
Right, it's not
bad.
But
no
it's comfortable. And I don't, you know, you got to push yourself to that discomfort, right? You know, in order to grow. So I want to push myself, and I am looking to monetize this later on in the future, right? Maybe whatever, not so much. I don't know yet. That's not my main focus, right? But it's just, you know, to help people grow and to grow myself. Me doing this grows me myself. I'm growing myself doing this. You know what I mean? I'm not just here, you know, thinking I know everything. I don't know shit. I'm learning from you. I'm learning from whoever's around me. I'm learning from myself. I'm finding out who I am. I'm taking control of my life now. You know what I mean? All the aspects of my life that were controlled by other people that they could just take from me. Now I got control of that. I told myself, you know what? I'm going to cut that off. I don't need you to do this for me no more. I'll do it myself, because at any moment you can take it away from me if I make you mad, and that's fucked up.
Right.
So take control of your own life. And this is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm learning now, right now. A lot of obstacles have come my way, you know, within the past couple of weeks. And me overcoming those obstacles just shows myself that I'm able to do it. I can do it. It's so easy. You just got to want to do it and push yourself and continue to tell yourself that none of this shit's going to stop me. No one's going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop me. Only myself. Right. Only person that can stop this is myself.
Yeah. So that's amazing. And like just seeing how you talk and how you're presenting yourself, how you came with the concept and the idea of this podcast is truly amazing. I remember from seeing you, not knowing who you were in county, then walking the yard in the penitentiary, passing you by, then getting out, seeing you at a corner store, reeled out, banging, you know, and then, you know, your system and all that, you know, and to see you, you know, looking fancy, have a logo, have something, make it, reinventing yourself is not easy, bro. It's not.
But it's possible.
And you're making it happen. And that's truly, man, I'm truly grateful to see that, you know, because I'm reinventing myself as well. And it's, man, the scrutiny and the things that I get, even in myself, my own, I'm my biggest criticizer. So, you know, and I give you kudos to making all this happen and come together, because only you can make it happen. And just let everybody watch, bro. And always think like they're the ones helping you grow your platform, but do it because Don John wants to be something bigger than who everybody thinks he can meet.
Right.
For sure, bro. For sure. Thank you for your time, bro.
Yeah. I think we're good. I think that's a hit. I think we're good, brother.